Hey, are you disappointed I don't have a song for you tonight? I just listened to the virtual pep rally and there's a song in there, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and that was fun. So I don't really have a song, but I just listened to that and Jonah Miller sang something from Dear Evan Hansen, which is one of my favorite songs right now. So anyway, it's a busy day. I don't know if I told you, my mom and dad live in Arizona in the winter, and my mom had some trouble, so she went into a rehab center, and they found out 2 days ago that one of the staff members has COVID. So she was not quite ready to leave physically. She's not doing great, but they pulled her out today. So my sister flew down from Minnesota to be with her and my dad today. And therefore, I'm tutoring my nephew in physics. And physics is like my absolute weakest area. I'm just not good with science. And so I worked on physics for like an hour and a half today. If you are good at physics, then I might need your help. Okay, I'm going to finish up. This is the last group of slides. This is the last like section of these slides before we do a little project. So we're just going to talk about management in this tonight. So I'll try to make it brief. Excuse me. Management functions are just coordinating everything. Your parents might be managers or might know managers. Um, and here's what I love about HSB is they have like all-encompassing ideas, but management itself, I think, is a little bit confusing. So I'm just going to give you a broad overview. Um, and the whole class of HSB management talks about all of these, all five of these, and gives you more explanation. But to be honest with you, in real life, a manager does all of these, and the functions underneath each of them are different depending on where you work than what HSB provides. So there's some of the functions of management. I'm sorry. I was not prepared to do this without coughing. So I'm sorry. Okay, so what does a manager do? They plan, figure out how it's going to be done, what's going to be done, and then they prepare for any emergencies that might happen, like COVID. They help to organize and figure out who's going to be in charge of what. Lines of authority just means like who's in charge, who's under that person, how many people are underneath that person, who's underneath that person. And sometimes in a small business, you don't have any sort of lines of authority, or you might have just a worker and the owner. And sometimes there's like lots of lines of authority. Staffing, so how many people are you going to have working for you? What types of people do you need? What type of skills do they need? How do you interview them? What kind of questions do you ask? How do you compensate them? Benefits, that sort of thing is HR really. And then what do you need futuristically? Then they help control. So controlling is kind of interesting because it's actually a word that's analogous to accounting. Sometimes accountants are called controllers. So in management, in HSB, it's a little bit different than that. You're looking at what is going on with your workload. How are people functioning at work? Are they coordinating their activities well enough? Are the employees doing what they're supposed to be doing? So here are some skills that managers need, and you'll read more about these in your lab. So technical, interpersonal, and conceptual. Most of you probably have this level of skill where you're able to answer questions about your job or questions about a class. Interpersonal skills is when you kind of move up a little bit. Believe it or not, your frontal lobe is not fully developed yet, and so your interpersonal skills are still developing. So are mine, actually. It's when you're communicating, like listening and talking with people, and trying to build relationships. Right now, you're in your egocentric mode of life, whether you like it or not. You just really think about yourself for the most part. As you get older, like the closer you are to 18, for some of you, it'll be like 30. You'll grow your interpersonal skills and get better at those. And then conceptual skills are skills like Mr. Curtis has, like big picture. How are we going to do this? What are we going to do with graduation? What can we do to creatively problem solve all of the celebrations that we normally have? You'll wait and see. There's going to be some cool stuff coming up. So these are some levels of management. And again, in some companies are not even talked about like this, but when you're studying like management theory, they're usually called these three types. So executive managers, as you can see, have more conceptual skills. So they're big picture thinkers, they're creative, they kind of manage lots of things. So my dad was the president of a couple of different colleges in Minnesota. He's high in conceptual skills. He's actually really low in technical skills, so we're having to help him with his technical skills as they've grown. He's 85, so he's been retired for a long time, actually not that long, but, and then high levels of interpersonal skills. And if you have a executive manager without high levels of these, generally they're not there a super long time. So usually the owners, CEOs, um, people in charge of strategic planning. And then middle managers kind of have a little bit of everything. Usually they're trying to grow these two areas and obviously proficient in this area as well. They're kind of the link between both levels of manager, the lower and the higher levels of manager, and they do more tactical planning. So those would be like in Oconomowoc High School, like our APs. So Mr. Frias, Ms. Wachowski, and Ms. Anders. And then supervisory level, most people are at this level. If you think about like the supervisor at McDonald's, at our school, it would be like our department chairs would be supervisory level. Not really, actually. They don't supervise us. Um, so they do like daily tasks and help other line workers do their job. What do managers manage? They manage people, finances. Obviously, they work hand in hand with all different departments, resources that the company needs, and then information like data. There you go. So these presentation guidelines are not accurate. They're for your project in school. So what we're going to be doing next is putting together all of these concepts into superheroes. And you'll be presenting those to me just one-on-one, or if you want to do it in a small group on Zoom in like another week or so. So you have some time. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. And I hope you have a great day. Do your best every single day because every day is a great day. Talk to you soon.